Budweiser International Classic weekend kicked off on Friday, August 31st with Bud Select 55 Pole Night at the Steel Palace as 38 Novelis Supermodifieds would take to the fast 5/8 mile looking to lock in the top 14 positions for Sunday's Budweiser International Classic 200, and the man on the pole early on, the fastest Canadian qualifier, driving John Nicotra's car number 2, was Mike Lichty with a lap of 16.285 seconds, just a tick over 138 miles an hour, but a couple cars later, Pat Lavery out of Oswego in the Double Deuce Racing car number 22. He would set quick time and will bring the field to green on Sunday, a lap of 16.242 seconds. Lavery, his second career Budweiser International Classic pole, earns him $1,000.
We had a really quick car all day long, and after I watched Mike Lichty run a 2, I said, well, I think the pole's kind of out of the question, so I says, if we can get ahead of these guys that are a big group of guys, we're running 5s and 6s. I said, I think we can do that and get ahead of those guys. And somehow we put a good lap together and got the pole. Felt like a pretty good lap. I didn't think it was a 2. I thought, we ran a 5 in practice, so I knew what we were up for, and it was a little bit better than that, but I didn't think it was a 2. It was a very cool feeling. Last time we were on the pole, it was qualifying in the morning, and we ran in the afternoon. It was one of the rain delay things, so it was only on the pole for about 2 hours. So this one we got 2 days to enjoy it, so this is pretty cool.
Two-time Classic champion Warren Coniam presented Mike Lichty with the Carl Rutledge Memorial Fastest Canadian Qualifier Award.
I just got to thank Warren. I've known the Coniam family for a long time. Ryan's one of my real good friends, and just means a lot for Warren to present this award to me, and just looking forward to the race. It's a long race, so just want to put on a good show for the fans.
One of the other annual awards handed out during International Classic Sunday, the Gator Racing News Best Appearing Car and Crew Award, this year going to Danzer Racing. Next up on the schedule, the always exciting Bud Light B Main, which would have 10 cars running for the final 5 positions in the Budweiser International Classic after second round time trials were held on Sunday, and Michael Muldoon and Timmy Snyder, the winner of the 2001 International Classic, they would start up there on row number 1 in this 15-lap last chance qualifier that nobody wants to be in, and this is why right here as Muldoon and Snyder make contact in corner number 2, Snyder would rejoin the field. Muldoon, however, would head pit side. He would not finish. Now he is hoping that Snyder makes it back into the top 5 so that Muldoon can earn his provisional starting spot at the tail of the Classic. As the green flag comes back out, Brandon Bellinger in the 0-2 and Steven Joya jump out into the race lead, leading the pack. And further on back, Snyder would indeed start to slice his way through the field. He works to the outside of Rod Sauter, another Canadian competitor in car number 33. Snyder now up into position number 5 in a qualifying position. So work can continue now on the Muldoon number 50 as they look to start 34th in the International Classic lineup. Final lap, final turn, Brandon Bellinger, car number 02, his father a 5-time Classic champion. Bellinger wins the Bud Light B Main to earn a Classic spot ahead of Joya, Jason Spaulding, Craig Ravals, and Timmy Snyder. As Bellinger pulls down into Chris Nelson Insurance victory lane, here once again on an International Classic Sunday, Danny Johnson talked to the winner.
Yeah, I guess we did finally make it. Seemed like every time we went to time trial, some weird old thing would happen, so I don't know. I guess we finally made it in anyways. That's all that matters. Well, I think probably the biggest thing is just got to tighten the car up a little more to keep the back end under it. You got a big difference between 15 and 200, so.
The two drivers who will start 33rd and 34th in the International Classic, Timmy Snyder and Michael Muldoon, confer after their tangle there in the Bud Light B Main, but the Muldoon team officially has word they will start on the outside of row number 17 as they make the repairs to the 50M, and race director Chuck Canley continues to conduct the drivers' meeting down in the infield.
Ready for a night out on the town? Tonight, try something different. Lighthouse Lanes in Oswego, a family-friendly recreational facility. You won't miss a minute of the action. You can enjoy wings, burgers, pizza, and more right at your laneside table. Stop by for an evening of cosmic bowling. Catch all of your favorite games on our big screen TVs. Plan your next party. We have room for up to 150 people. It's family-friendly fun for all ages. Lighthouse Lanes in Oswego, Route 104, next to the Speedway.
International Classic Sunday pre-race ceremonies now underway on Sunday morning as the drivers begin their introductions across the podium, including this man, Timmy Snyder, who will start 33rd, and after having a blood clot in his leg earlier in the season, missing most of the year, Timmy back in the Classic lineup. A new tradition started on Sunday, including carrying the starters around the Speedway in a pace truck as Pat Lavery and Mike Lichty salute the rear grandstand crowd. A moment of silence also before the start of the Classic 200 in memory of past competitors who have lost their lives on Classic weekend, including Gary Witter and the great Jimmy Champagne. The national anthem being sang and underway. Mike Barnes, driver of the Strong Racing number 99, a two-time feature winner in 2012. He prepares and readies for the International Classic 200 as the fireworks go off in the air, signifying the end of the anthem. And it is now time for the drivers to head to their seats and get ready. Dave Danzer finished 4th in the International Classic 1 year ago. He has a feature win in 2012. Randy Ritzkes, driver of the Durant Farms Racing number 88. Randy led 197 of the 200 laps in the year 2000. He is looking for his first International Classic win. Davey Hamilton in the Nicotra Racing car number 6. He last won the Classic in 1997, looking for win number 2 here today. Joe Gosick, a 3-time winner of the International Classic 200. His last ones coming in 1992 and 2002, looking to make it number 4 in 2012. Ray Graham, a 2-time winner here in the 2012 racing season, has yet to pick up a win in the Budweiser International Classic. He will start 3rd here this afternoon. Mike Lichty, your fastest Canadian qualifier, will go from the outside of row number 1. He finished 2nd in the 2011 running of the Classic. And the man on the pole, he is raring and ready to go in the Double Deuce Racing number 22, Pat Lavery of Oswego. One of the greatest sights in all of auto racing, the starting lineup for the Budweiser International Classic 200 on Sunday, September 2nd, in front of a huge front grandstand crowd and also a very nice crowd in the back straightaway in those 4 redone sections as they salute the 17 rows of 34 starters coming to take the green flag for the biggest super modified race in the world, paying $15,000 to the race winner. Green flag in the air, and we are underway for the Budweiser International Classic, and it is Lavery in the number 22 machine, pulling out into the early race lead. He would lead the first 13 circuits before Lichty would decide to take the top spot. And just as Lichty grabbed the lead, yellow lights would come on for Dave Danzer, who had a flat left front tire. Danzer would come pit side to make a stop. He would get back out onto the speedway, something you don't typically see in super modified racing. Pit stops all the time here in the 200. Joe Gosick in the 00 beginning to make some moves further back. He moves into position number 3 on Ray Graham as Graham puffs a bunch of smoke out of the rear of the number 90. The end of the day for Ray as he would pull pit side in the Extreme Chassis machine. Gosick would continue his assault on the field, next moving to the inside of the 22 of Lavery to move into position number 2, ready to chase down the 2 of Lichty as he continues to lead the field out in front. And on lap number 46, Gosick puts himself in position in lap traffic as Lichty pushes a little bit high in corner number 2. Gosick finds the lane to the inside. And 00 Joe, your new leader of the International Classic 200, Davey Hamilton, would slide through on the inside as well to move up into the runner-up position. Just a few laps later, trouble for the leaders as Jerry Curran loses it in corner number 2. Gosick, Hamilton, and Lichty all slam on the binders to avoid the spinning car number 24 in turn number 2. With yellow lights on the speedway at lap number 60, drivers would again take this opportunity to make pit stops, including the number 35 of Jeff Holbrook. who started the 200 back in position number 5. A stagger adjustment made. Holbrook ready to be pushed onto the speedway. Actually gets a little bit of contact from the push Jeep here in the pit lane. And once again, you can tell these drivers not accustomed to making pit stops, but that's just one of the things that makes this International Classic 200 exactly what it is. Back to green flag racing, Johnny Benson, former NASCAR Nationwide and Truck Series champion. He was in the field, qualified in the top 10, but had a right front hang-up on the number 11 machine, sending a bunch of smoke. He would have to head pit side as well. And the driver out of Cornelius, North Carolina, calls it a day in the Graham Racing car number 11. Back on the restart, a driver a little further back starting to make his presence known was the driver of number 60 out of Liverpool, New York. This is Brian Sobis. Sobis in his third career Budweiser International Classic 200 start. Finished in the top 10 in his previous 2 starts, and he was well on his way to another top 10 here today, working to the outside of the 26 of Sean Gosselin. Meanwhile, the battle very tight up front, but Lichty in the 2 car loses the handle out of corner number 4. Couldn't quite tell from that angle exactly what happened. The Lichty machine pushed to the infield, and Mike, very, very unhappy in the pit lane. His International Classic day is done. Otto Sitterly, who started back in the outside of row number 7, he was now working his way well into the top 5 as he makes his way to the inside of the 88 of Ritzkis into corner number 3 to move into position number 3. Sitterly in the 7, marching through the field. Next in his sights would be his teammate Davey Hamilton in car number 6 as Sitterly makes a bold move out of corner number 2 to move to the inside into that 3rd turn. Sitterly now up into 2nd, and the battle was really on now for the lead as Gosick hits lap traffic. Sitterly takes the point on lap number 150. Well, Sitterly trying to work to the outside and the inside of lap traffic himself, now gets stuck behind the 0-2 of Brandon Bellinger. Gosick goes to the outside out of corner number 4 just 2 laps later, and Gosick retakes the lead. But you guessed it, 2 laps after that, lap number 154. Sitterly again to the inside out of turn 4. He makes his way back underneath the Gosick number 00. They exchange the lead 3 times in about 6 laps. Sitterly able to clear McKnight down the back straightaway in lap traffic. Sitterly out in front. But just 2 laps after that, lap 156, red flag hits the speedway for Bob Bond in car number 25, who flips down the backstretch. Bob was A-OK, but clearly the same cannot be said for his race car. Bobby, the 2010 winner of the Budweiser International Classic 200, was running 12th at the time when something appeared to have broken on that car coming out of corner number 2. Bond slams into the outside wall and goes for a ride as that car is returned to the infield pit lane. Red flag on the speedway. Hamilton and Gosick stop on the backstretch just behind your new race leader, Otto Sitterly. But when the yellow lights came back on, time to refire, the 00 would not. A vapor lock on the Birch Do It Best Home Center car number 00, which can often happen in these big block fuel-injected Supermodifieds. Gosick would have to actually be pushed into the pit lane. His team would have to gather to the front of that race car. They will actually, as you'll see here in just a second, they will actually push the race car in gear backwards to clear the fuel out of the cylinders and back out of the exhaust, and then hope that that car refires. As it turns out, Gosick would refire. He would not lose a lap on the speedway and would rejoin at the tail side of the lead lap here in the International Classic 200.
Ready for a night out on the town? Tonight, try something different. Lighthouse Lanes in Oswego, a family-friendly recreational facility. You won't miss a minute of the action. You can enjoy wings, burgers, pizza, and more right at your laneside table. Stop by for an evening of cosmic bowling. Catch all of your favorite games on our big screen TVs. Plan your next party. We have room for up to 150 people. It's family-friendly fun for all ages. Lighthouse Lanes in Oswego, Route 104, next to the Speedway.
as the race came back to green. After the red flag, Tim Snyder was starting to make his moves in the 0, working up to the outside of the 20 of Joey Payne. Snyder on the move, but just a couple of cars back, Pat Lavery, your pole sitter in the car number 22, he tags the outside wall. That would bring out yet another caution flag to the speedway. Under this yellow, Gosick, who was already at the tail end of the lead lap, decided to make a pit stop in the 00, changing a right rear tire, but unfortunately for the Gosick crew, they would lose a lap in the process. At the same time, you can see the damage to the 22 of Lavery as that car is hooked back into the infield. Lavery clearly displeased, it appears, with the strong racing team here on the opposite side of the pit lane. Under this caution, a lot went on. Randy Ritzkis was also running in position number 4. He had an oil fire in the 88. He pulls it to the inside of the front straight. He would call it a day in the Durant Farms machine. Back underway once again, Sitterly beginning to pull away from the field, and with 8 laps to go, Sean Muldoon running in position number 7 gets tagged by the 01 of Danny Connors. And a tough day for Muldoon. He was running 7th, but now would end just outside of the top 10. Back underway one more time, Snyder and Payne continue their moves through the field, making their moves to the inside of the 26 of Sean Goslin. Out of corner number 2, Snyder, who started all the way back in position number 33, aligned himself with Payne. They would finish 4th and 5th in the race order, but up front, it was all Otto Sitterly, his 2nd consecutive Budweiser International Classic 200 win, and his 3rd in 4 years. Sitterly gets the win. Hamilton, his teammate, would come across the line in 2nd ahead of Dave Gruel in 3rd, Snyder and Payne in the top 5, Sean Goslin, Brian Sobis, Cody Graham, Gary Morton, and Joe Gosick, a lap down to the field, would hang on for a top 10 finish as Sitterly pulls down into Chris Nelson Insurance Budweiser International Classic victory lane, coming out from the top of the roll cage, getting a handshake from his car owner, John Nakotra, and then the customary ride around the track in the Burt Motors Chevrolet Pace Truck, Otto Sitterly, a 3-time International Classic champion.
Thanks a lot, and that's the biggest thing I have to say to anybody that's ever helped me in my career, current, past, maybe future, whatever. I owe a lot of people, just basically everything. I wouldn't be able to do it if it wasn't for the people behind me. So I owe thanks to so many people. A lot of gratitude right here. Yeah, we just got off to a pretty good start. I really didn't expect it that early in the race. That was nice at the start to be able to just have a good, clean start, and got up by a couple of guys right off the bat. As soon as I saw Davey a few cars ahead of me, then I figured, him and Mike, I figured we'd all cruise for a while right there. But, there was a few guys I was concerned with. Riskis is always tough. So I rode behind him a while, but I knew I didn't want to stay there too long. I just didn't want to use my car up late in the race and not have anything for the end. And then really once I was out in the open air, I could run down, I could see the car was rolling through the middle good. And I ran Joe down pretty easily, really.
It was another fun race. I love coming to Oswego, and Johnny Nakotra and Otto Sitterly. What can I say? They gave me a great car, for a guy just to show up every now and then and hop in one of these. It's tough to beat these guys on a week in, week out basis. So, I had a lot of fun. It was, Otto was on rails. I had nothing for him. We were a little loose coming off the corner, but it was still a solid run. And, it's a good day for me. We ended up, with Otto winning as a teammate, and we ran in 2nd, and I just got to use my IndyCar, ran 3rd in Baltimore. So, man, I'm pumped up right now.
Actually, I wish it was a little bit shorter race, and I used up more of my car sooner. So now we took it easy the whole race and just kept down the bottom of the track, kept the car going straight, and didn't abuse the tires. Unfortunately, at the end, that 7 car and 6 car were just in a different zip code. After 5-10 laps after a restart, I could kind of stay with them, but on the restarts, they were just gone.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Congratulations to Otto and the 6 team. If I could run like that here, I'll be very happy. But we had a good run. We got a fuel pickup problem. We ran out of gas with about 5 laps to go there, but the car's good, and that's the upside of it, and then we'll be back.
Otto, congratulations on a wonderful win. 3 times up here on the podium is pretty amazing. I'd like to thank Mike and Mary O'Brien of Wholesale Diamond Exchange. For many years they made these rings, and on behalf of myself and the employees of JP Jewelers, I'm very proud to present you with this ring. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
That thing's pretty heavy. You gonna be able to carry it?
Yeah, very close. Probably a little sweaty and swollen right now, but thank you very much appreciated.
All right, we'll get some more photos, and that'll conclude our Victory Lane ceremonies here for 2012 at the Budweiser International Classic.